And now really we're moving towards software 3.0 because these generative AIs in the future, instead of using machine learning to learn a new AI for every researcher, you'll probably start with pre-trained models, foundation models that are already pre-trained. And the way that we develop software could very, very much be like assembling teams with experts of various AI capabilities, some that are using tools, some that are able to generate special things, and then a general purpose AI that's really good at reasoning, that's connecting this network of AIs together, solving problems like teams solve problems. And so software 3.0 is here.
I've gotten the sense from talking to you recently that you are optimistic that these generative AI tools will become more controllable, more accurate. We all know that there are issues with hallucinations, low quality outputs, that people are using these tools and they're maybe not getting exactly the output that they're hoping for.
Right.
Meanwhile, they're using a lot of energy, which we're going to talk about. Why are you so optimistic about this? What do you think is pointing us in the direction of this generative AI actually becoming that much more useful and controllable?
Well, the big breakthrough of ChatGPT was reinforcement learning human feedback, which was the way of using humans to produce the right answers or the best answers to align the AI on our core values or align our AI on the skills that we would like it to perform. That's probably just the extraordinary breakthrough that made it possible for them to open ChatGPT for everyone to use. Other breakthroughs have arrived since then. Guardrailing, which causes the AI to focus its energy or focus its response in a particular domain so that it doesn't wander off and pontificate about all kinds of stuff that you ask it about. It would only focus on the things that it's been trained to do, aligned to perform, and that it has deep knowledge in. The third breakthrough is called retrieval augmented generation, which basically is vectorized or data that has been embedded so that we understand the meaning of that data. And so
it's a more authoritative data set. It goes beyond just the trained data set, and it actually pulls from other sources.
That's right. It's not just pre-trained data source.
Right.
It's and something, for example, it might be all of the articles that you've ever written, all of the papers that you've ever written. And so now it becomes an AI that's authoritative on your, and it could be essentially a chatbot of you. So everything that I've ever written or ever said could be vectorized and then created into a semantic database. And then before an AI responds, it would look at your prompt, and it would search the appropriate content from that vector database, and then augment it in its generative process.
And you think that is one of the most important factors?
These three combinations really made it possible for us to do that with text. Now, the thing that's really cool is that we are now starting to figure out how to do that with images,
visuals.
Right? And SIGGRAPH is really a lot about images and generation. And so if you look at today's generative AI, you could give it a prompt, and it goes into, in this particular case, this is a Edify AI model that Nvidia created. It's a 2D, text to 2D foundation model. It's multimodal, and we partnered with Getty to use their library of data to train an AI model. And so this is a text to 2D image. And
you also created this slide personally, right?
I personally had this slide created. And so
in a world where technology continues to bridge unimaginable gaps, Nvidia has once again made headlines, stunning tech aficionados and investors alike with pioneering developments. Enter Signs, an artificial intelligence-powered platform stepping into the realm of assistive technology aimed at enhancing American Sign Language learning. Is this the peak of Nvidia's AI advancements, or is there more to come? Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
The second thing, the next thing I'll say about generative AI is, remember, the traditional way of doing computing is called retrieval-based computing. Everything is pre-recorded. All the stories are written pre-recorded, all the images are pre-recorded, all the videos are pre-recorded. And so everything is stored off in a data center somewhere, pre-recorded. Generative AI reduces the amount of energy necessary to go run to a data center over the network, retrieve something, and bring it over the network. Don't forget, the data center is not the only place that consumes energy. The world's data center is only 40% of the total computing done. 60% of the energy is consumed on the internet, moving the electrons around, moving the bits and bytes around. And so generative AI is going to reduce the amount of energy on the internet, because instead of having to go retrieve the information, we can generate it right there on the spot, because we understand the context. We probably have some content already on the device, and we can generate the response so that you don't have to go retrieve it somewhere else.
Well, part of that is also moving atoms around, right?
And then
part of that is supply chain.
One last thing I got to tell you. Lauren, one last thing I tell you. Remember, AI doesn't care where it goes to school. Today's data centers are built near the power grid where society is, of course, because that's where we need it. In the future, you're going to see data centers being built in different parts of the world where there's excess energy. It's just that it costs a lot of money to bring that energy to society. Maybe it's in a desert, maybe it's in places that has a lot of sustainable energy, but it's just not a very attractive.
They're already taking up a lot of water.
Well, there's plenty of water as well. It just happens to be undrinkable water. And so we can use water that are we can put data centers where there's less population and more energy. Okay, just don't forget that there's a lot of energy coming from the sun. There's a lot of energy in the world, and what we need to do is move data centers out closer to where there's excess energy and not put everything near population.
As Nvidia allies with the American Society for Deaf Children and Hello Monday, the project's magnitude comes to light, underscoring the potential impact on the everyday lives of the deaf community. The platform aims to compile an expansive dataset of 400,000 video clips, each illustrating one of 1,000 signed words. As most deaf children are born to hearing parents, the availability of such tools ignites the opportunity for early communication, echoing Sherry Dowling's sentiments on the platform's potential to transform lives. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
So you look at that and you go, okay, well, that pretty much confirms the fact that CapEx is going to slow down. And so for the Nvidia print, it's more interesting to just see what they have to say. Jensen looks out 10 years in advance.
I don't know. Meta, Google, Amazon, Oracle, they've all been ramping up spending in a big way.
Well, they haven't. Because if you go, and I've written about this multiple times, look at Oracle. If you look at Oracle, Oracle came out and said for their next fiscal year, they're going to go ahead and double CapEx. So you look at that and you get incredibly excited when you don't do any of the math. When you do the math, you go, okay, well, their fiscal year ends in May. This implies $13.7 billion in CapEx. You've already had 6 months go by. So that leaves $7.5 billion left to spend. In the most recent quarter, they spent $4 billion. So $4 billion doubled is $8 billion. That's not 7.5, right? So their sequential growth is actually going to go down in AI CapEx. But you look at the headlines and you go, oh, CapEx is doubling. That's fantastic. That's the problem with a lot of the analysis you're seeing is people aren't actually going through and doing the math, what it means sequentially. Much like with Microsoft today, there's a reason why after IR is clarifying this, the stock is going down.
So then,
I'm sorry.
Dan, why would you go long into Nvidia, into Dell, into Broadcom, all these supplier names we're going to get in the next couple of weeks?
I didn't say I would be long into. I mean, that's my point. There's a lot of, much like the prior comment of, oh my God, CapEx is really strong. When you actually go and do the work, it really isn't. And the way you need to think about this is, you know, we all lived through, or most of us lived through the 2000 ramp up. And quite honestly, my view had been that, okay, we're going to go through an AI CapEx digestion phase in the middle of 2025, and then we're going to see a doubling in revenues from Nvidia through the end of the decade because we still have a lot more CapEx going into inference.
backed by real-time AI feedback utilizing webcams, Nvidia's 3D avatars breathe life into signs, offering an empathetic twist to technology's cold mechanics. As Nvidia explores the intricacies of facial expressions and head movements, they unpack a new dimension of human interaction, one where regional dialects and slang terms diversify communication. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you! These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
It's not like internet demand slowed down in 2001 and 2002. It didn't stop the NASDAQ from going down 78% over 2.5 years as valuations came into more in line. And looking at Warren Buffett, talked about at his annual shareholder meeting, selling stocks, etc., more cash being raised. You have to think about it, especially when you look at valuation. So I've been saying this for months now, and the more data that's coming out, the more that looks likely. NVIDIA is going to be bullish, don't get me wrong, but you have to look at it from end demand and work your way back, not from what the chip guys are saying, who've been undersupplying for 2 years. And the customers will change on a dime, just like they did in 01, 02, and I think that's coming by mid-year.
Nvidia's ambitious foray into assistive technologies with the Signs platform positions the company as a visionary leader influencing not just stock market dynamics, but societal transformation. While it's no neural implant, the platform lays foundational stones for communicating across divides, promising growth both in social impact and market valuation. But what do you think of this advancement? Share your perspective. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.